All right. Can somebody let me know if they can hear me? Somebody hear me? We'll see here. Should be able to hear. All right, guys, so we're going to give this probably about maybe 5 minutes, and what we're going to do is kind of let people get in, gather, a couple stragglers behind the ball. But in the meantime, grab yourself some sake, some wine, an Empress Gin and Tonic if you want to. And we're going to get rolling here in about 5 minutes, and we're really excited to have you guys here today. All right, we're looking pretty good. I think we got everything we need here. Take a couple tabs off the stuff. Hope everyone's having a wonderful day today. It's a wonderful Saturday, nice relaxing. Gonna make some egg rolls, fill everyone up. It's gonna be delicious. All right, let's see here. We're just going to give it about 2 more minutes, and then we'll get started once we know everybody's kind of on board. Everyone's here, a little courtesy 5 minutes. And we're going to have some fun today, guys. Any upfront questions in the next 2-3 minutes I can answer before we kind of get started? Just type them into the chat box. All right, guys, so about 1 more minute here. I'm really excited. So did anybody get a chance to watch season 1, episode 1 about knife sharpening? I can't tell you guys how incredibly important it is to have sharp knives, especially in your kitchen. Dull knives are just asking for injury. So I really hope you guys do that. I hope you guys get stones at home and realize just how easy it is to take care of your knives. So take a look at season 1. We're at 3:05 right now. And I think we are all here. And so welcome to season 1 of the Ever-Growing Chef. Very excited to have you guys here. Great to kick it off with this live video to simulate kind of a celebration during these crazy COVID times where we can't get together. But let's get started and let's kind of take a look at what we got up here. So I've got ground chicken, okay? So you can use white, you can use dark meat, you can use white or dark meat. Personally, I prefer a blend. And then we've got ginger root. So I told y'all to get puree ginger. I live out here in Moses Lake, and unfortunately, it's very hard to come by. So I got some fresh ginger here that I'll be shaving. But I do have the puree garlic, 1 egg, a medium-sized carrot, 1 bundle of those wonderful green onions, celery seed, soy sauce, sesame oil. Now the sesame oil you'll be using is going to be your standard sesame oil. This is going to be one of my infused oils that you're going to learn about in episode 3 on the Ever Growing Chef. We're going to teach you how to make some infused oils. That's the chili oil. Of course, our maypoi seasoning, which is going to be that wonderful, delicious, sweet, spicy sauce, Thai sauce. Got some salt, got some pepper. We're going to need 1 chef's knife of any size that you have. Of course, I use a 12-inch. I got big hands, big guy. Now, if you are using fresh ginger, this is a zester, and a zester can also use very much like a grater. You're going to see me get to use it here in just a little bit. We have 2 bowls. Now, 1 bowl is always going to be for waste. Now, when we're cooking, we try not to waste as much, so anything I can save, I'll see if I can make a stock or do something out of, trying to find a way to repurpose it. And then I got 1 bowl here, and this is going to be for the chicken, where we're going to mix all the chicken up. And then the plate, once all the vegetables come off it, we're going to go ahead, we're going to roll our egg rolls on there. And then, of course, over here, we've got our frying pan. You'll see we've got a couple different angles. And what we're going to do here is, thank goodness I got ventilation because this is natural gas. But we're going to go ahead, we're going to heat this oil up to around 375 degrees. Now, we want our oil to be at about 350, but when we put cold items into oil, it's going to bring that temperature down a little bit. So we're going to bring it up to 375 so it stays at 350. So you're also going to need a peeler. If you haven't already peeled your carrot, you're going to need a little fork to mix up your egg and a little tiny bowl to mix up your egg. And if you want, it's just something I do. I tend to flip with chopsticks. You'll see me do that when I'm working that in the pan. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give everybody kind of like 2 minutes, 3 minutes. If there's something you missed, something you don't have, go grab it real quick, and then we'll continue on here in about 2 minutes. Now, if you're already ready, what I will tell you is go ahead and you're gonna watch me do it here. I'm gonna take my oil, I'm gonna get it into my pan. I'm gonna put about 1/2 inch of oil in. Okay? So just like that, you can see that it's just about 1/2 inch covering the top. Might go a little bit more, a little oil never hurt nobody, unless it's genetically bad. So we'll go ahead and we'll put that off to the side. We'll get our oil there. You're also going to need a set of tongs, okay, guys? So make sure you have all this stuff. Make sure you're ready to go. We call this mise en place, which stands for things in place in French. And what that really means is having everything in front of you, the pans you're going to need, the stuff you're going to need to be able to cook within kind of that arm's reach. Mise en place is something you'll hear me say in my episodes here coming up, not a lot of the time. And we're gonna really hammer in on that, because when you're running around the kitchen trying to find stuff, it's way less efficient. That's when cooking really becomes an issue. We don't want to make that happen. So, all right, so about 2 minutes here. Everybody's got everything. So where are we gonna start? So we really need to start with our filling. So we've got that wonderful pound of chicken breast, and we're gonna take that and we're gonna go ahead and put that into like one of these bowls. And there's usually a little film. Make sure you don't cook that. Nobody likes film in their stuff. So we're gonna put the chicken in a bowl here. And next what we're gonna do is we're gonna start working with our vegetables. Okay, and I mentioned earlier, you're gonna need a thermometer. Make sure you have that. We are cooking with raw chicken, and it's just one of those meats I don't mess around with. So what we're gonna do is, let's go ahead, we're gonna take our chicken and we're gonna add in some of the seasonings. So I believe we said 1 tablespoon of sesame oil. So we're gonna take 1 tablespoon of sesame oil and we're gonna put that over the chicken. Like I said, in my case, this is gonna be the chili sesame oil that I have. I like my stuff a little bit more spicy. Okay, and then we're also gonna go ahead and we're gonna throw in the 1 tablespoon of soy sauce right here. So about 1 tablespoon of soy sauce in there. Okay, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna take that chicken and we are just gonna go ahead and we are gonna mix this up. And this is going to act in a way that we're mixing to where that seasoning between those oils, I don't know if you've ever had sesame oil before, but it's a very potent oil. It has really great flavor. We're going to go ahead, we're going to mix it up in here, okay? And we're going to give you some time to catch up here. So 1 tablespoon of that soy sauce and 1 tablespoon of that oil, okay? So let's stop there and we'll get to where we can kind of catch up. Give you guys kind of a minute here. Put that in, so that's gonna be nice and mixed up. You're gonna smell that oil, that sesame oil coming through, it's very pungent, it's very strong. And you might be saying, hey, that smells like a lot of the, the restaurants that I eat at, when I go out to eat some Chinese food or Japanese food. Sesame oil is huge, totally changes the flavor of everything that you use. I can't explain it enough. Probably one of my most favorite oils out there. So now that you've kind of finished mixing this up, actually we'll give you about another minute here, and everybody's doing their own thing. So 1 tablespoon of that sesame oil and 1 tablespoon of that soy sauce. So then we're going to move into some of the veggies. So we got our medium carrot. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to peel the medium carrot all down the sides, just like so. I got big hands, makes it hard to hold that thing sometimes. Big hands is a problem when you're a chef. So, and then we got all this waste, right? This is all the trim and stuff right here. Now I can use that, I can save that for later, and we'll talk about that in some of our later episodes. But we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna take our chef knife, okay? So we got our chicken mixed up. Now we're gonna get into cutting some of the goods. So we got our 12-inch chef knife. And what I'm gonna do is right here on the bottom, you'll see on the carrot, I'm gonna take a cut off the carrot to even it out with kind of the thickness of the side. I'm gonna cut the top, and I'm gonna cut it into like little tiny portions, just like so. Do you see that? So I'm gonna cut it into like a quarter. So it's like these pieces right here. Okay, and this is the easiest way we can kind of explain it. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and make thin slices out of this carrot. And then I'm going to make thin slices the other way, okay? So we're basically going to turn them into tiny little matchsticks. Okay, do you see that? You see how they're all like little tiny matchsticks, just like that? Can you see that? I don't know, I'll kind of bring it up here. So you'll probably be able to see that right there. Little tiny matchsticks is what we're going for. So you'll see I cut the carrot into quarters, and then I'm cutting it vertically so I get these little tiny shavings. So each one of those represents like a little tiny section of it, okay? And then I'm going to cut them vertically, okay? And I'm going to check in between these steps, guys, just to see if anybody has questions, just to see where we're up. So if you have a question, don't be afraid to put it in the chat. We're not in any hurry to get this done unless you're really, really, really hungry, but that's on you. Then it's up to you to be able to feed yourself in that situation. So we'll go through the process here. Like I said, you're just going to cut these up, 1 entire carrot. You'll see I'm kind of stacking them. And I know this is going to take some people a while who have never done this before, and that is totally okay. The other way you could do this is you could do a little bit longer pieces. However, I'll show you right here, when you get to being a little bit more experienced, you just cut a couple pieces at a time. So you're just going to see like there's like 3 pieces right there. They're the perfect length. They're exactly what I want. And we're also season 1, episode 2 is actually going to be more about knife skills. So when you come to these classes in the future, you're a little bit more able to be able to do the cuts that we're doing in real time and live time. So again, we're going to continue cutting this carrot here real quick. You'll see I'm just making it into maybe 4. It's a medium-sized carrot. If you got a large carrot, maybe you want to cut it into 6. And then I'm just going to thinly slice those long pieces right there. All right, so as soon as I'm done with these carrots, I'm going to give you guys a little bit of time to catch up, like I said I was going to, a little bit earlier. But go ahead and put into the comment feed if you have any questions or anything I can do, anything I can adjust, so that way you can have a better view. I want to make sure this is the best experience possible for you guys. So again, we're going to cut these down. I'll cut them into nice long strips, just like so. Look at that. Okay. You'll see I'm rocking my knife. This is a harder vegetable, going up and down on it. Gives you a little bit more of a risk of cutting yourself. So we're going to take those carrots and we're going to go ahead, we're going to throw them into our chicken here. Just like so. We're going to throw them into the chicken. Use your knife and go like that. A lot of chefs hate doing that, but if you got a good enough knife and you've done it a lot, it's not going to affect your edge. So if you're not experienced, don't scrape with your knife. That damages your edge. So give me 1 second. We're going to take a quick little catch-up break. I'm going to go check the comments, see if you have any questions I can answer. Be right back. Okay, so I'm not seeing too many questions on there. I'm glad you guys like the camera angles. This was definitely trying this to set this up. Somebody asked, hey, do I have the egg roll wrapper? I do. It is in my trash, but luckily it is right at the top of my trash. Here's the egg roll wrappers I got from Safeway. So this is what they look like right here, the egg roll wrappers. And then right here on this plate, you're gonna see I have the egg roll wrappers all ready to go. They're dusted in a little bit of starch. We're gonna talk about that. So, all right, so what we're gonna do at this point, we are gonna go ahead, we're gonna get our oil turned on. So you'll see I have this little setup here. Cool, we'll see if it works, trying this out. There we go, we got a little bit of fire. Now I'm gonna set my oil to a medium heat, not high, medium heat. We still got some work to do. That medium is gonna gradually pick up heat over the period of time. And like I said, we're not looking for this oil to be at 500 degrees. I mean, if we are, we'd have to use a totally different oil, by the way. But as far as it goes with this, fill your pan up, give it about a ½ inch of oil. Go ahead, get it on the stove, get it at medium heat. Okay, and then while we're doing this, that's just gonna heat up to the perfect temperature, which is really great. So we got our carrots. I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna mix those carrots into the chicken, okay? Now, when it comes to chicken, I feel like everyone looks at chicken like, hey man, this is that piece of meat that everyone talks about, right? It's really, really dangerous. And the thing is, it can be, right? It's all about how you handle your products, how you handle your food. And when it comes to chicken, it's one of those things where you have to figure out what you're going to touch next or what you're going to cross contaminate. But when you're doing a recipe like this and you're cooking everything that's kind of going into it, except for like one of the sauces, it's pretty easy. You don't have to be afraid as long as you get to that 165 temperature in the very center at the very end. So we've mixed up our chicken. Okay, we've got that in there. And what we're going to go ahead is we're going to go ahead and do our 1 tablespoon of ginger that we're going to go ahead and get in there. Now for me, I didn't have puree ginger around. I have a little piece of ginger that I've kind of shaved off. I have a nice little zester, also works as a great grating utensil. And I'm just going to simply slide this over the most fine part. I'm going to let it grate it out. I'm looking for all that wonderful flavor, the aroma, everything on there. And the nice thing about a zester is it all comes over on this other side. So getting it out is as easy as just taking my finger and pushing it down. See that right there? And it all comes out. Now, cleaning it's a little bit different of a story. I can rub it with my finger. It's not going to cut me. It's pretty gentle. And I'm just going to get whatever ginger is kind of left in there and we get that into the bowl. So that ginger in there. Anything that's left on the cutting board is going to go in there. Perfect. I got the ginger. I'm going to set it to the side. And then we're going to do our tablespoon of garlic. Okay. So go ahead and grab your garlic. If you got the puree, you got a nice little cap like this. We're going to go ahead. We're going to squeeze in about 1 tablespoon of garlic. Beautiful thing about garlic is a little too much never hurt anybody. In fact, it made everything better, which is awesome. Okay. So we've got our garlic in. We've got our ginger in. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to put this over here so we don't have that in the way. Now we're going to grab some of our celery seed. And after celery seed, we're going to take a little break. We're going to let people catch up. We're going to let people get back to where we're going. And I'm just going to put in about a teaspoon of celery seed. It really doesn't take much of this. But what celery seed does is adds a really great peppery undertone to what you're cooking. It really is a phenomenal underused spice. And once we put the celery seed in, we're going to put in a little ground pepper. Probably about 1 teaspoon of ground pepper. And we're just going to hit it with a little bit of salt. We don't want a lot of salt, okay? Because if we do a lot of salt, what's basically going to happen is we already got that soy sauce in there, and we're not looking for over salty. We're just looking for that flavor to really come out of it. And what enhances flavor more than salt? There's nothing. There's absolutely nothing. So, all right, we're going to take 2-3 minutes. We're going to let people kind of catch up here. Once you put those in, go ahead and mix everything up. And then we'll all catch up here in about 3 to 4 minutes. And you'll see I'm just mixing this up really nicely. I'm doing the folding technique. So folding is coming under and going over and pushing down. Coming under, going over, pushing down. So and I'll do that right here for you so you can see it a little bit better. Coming under, going over, and pushing down. And what that's just doing is kneading this chicken into the ingredients that I just put in there. So that garlic, that ginger, all that wonderful stuff just get mixed in super nicely. Okay. A little raw chicken on you. No worries. Like I said, we're going to have a cooked product here at the end. So once we're done there, like I said, about 2 minutes here, we're going to get back to it, put this stuff over here, and we'll follow up in about 2 minutes. All right, oil's getting nice and hot. I like that. All right, so probably just finishing up, getting that stuff mixed into your chicken. Okay, I'll give it one more little spin there. All right, so cabbage. Let's talk about cabbage. So there's a couple different cabbages. There's green cabbage, and green cabbage is that big old head of cabbage. It's really firm. We all know it for coleslaw. And then there's Napa cabbage, which is a much more delicate. It's almost like a romaine in a way. It's like the romaine of cabbage is the best way that I would put it. But what we're going to do is we're going to get some really nice thin strips out of this, and this is going to be used as a filler, and it's also going to help it exhibit some of that flavor that's inside the chicken with the soy and everything. Okay, so what we're going to do is, and we're going to talk about this, we're going to do the claw method on episode 2. We're going to talk about some knife skills. But I'm going to roll my knuckles up here, and I'm just going to thinly slice this cabbage. And I'm only going to do about half of the head of cabbage. Okay, I'm not going to do too much. And that's only because everybody doesn't always get like a pound of chicken. Some people get a pound and a half of chicken. Some people get a pound and a quarter of chicken. Some people, their butcher just really doesn't like them and gives them like 3/4 of a pound of chicken. But either way, we're going to put that cabbage right into there. And then we are going to take one of these green onions, okay? Now, you don't have to do this. This is not traditional, okay? You don't have to do this. So you get your cabbage in. I like to put a little green onion on the inside. And I'm just going to slice that nice and thin, really nice and thin. Like I said, having a really nice knife, sharp and everything, is going to help you out here. So I'm going to take just one of those. It's really not a lot of onion, but it's enough to just give it a little bit of flavor. I'll pop that in there. We're going to let that go in. Okay. We're going to mix that up. Mix in the chicken, mix in the cabbage, mix in all the goodness. We're going to get that flavor. We got the garlic, we got the ginger, we got a little bit of sesame oil. Now, this should be relatively dry, which means you shouldn't have big puddles of oil at the very bottom. You shouldn't have anything that's really flashing out at you and telling you, hey, I'm going to go into oil and it's going to be really bad because there's a lot of water left in it. So we don't want that. So really, you're going to continue to mix this in. You're going to mix in that chicken. And you're going to do the same flipping technique. I'll do it right here. So over the top and down, over the top and down, scoop over the top and down. We'll move on to the next little bout of things. So we got everything mixed in, chicken's ready, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to prep this plate for rolling, because really everything we've done so far filling wise is completely done. So you've already created everything inside the egg roll for the better good of all egg rolls. So we're going to get another plate, be right back. Okay, so our oil is heating up. So let's talk about how do we know when our oil is ready to be used, okay? So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to take a little thin slice of this carrot that I left over. I'm just going to toss it in the oil. You see those bubbles that are coming up right there? That is telling me, hey, this sucker is ready to go. We're at the heat where the water is evaporating relatively quickly. You can see that in there kind of boiling. I'll move it back over to this side. You got some oil, and it should just look like that. That is perfect. Now, if you have a thermometer and you want to get really into it, you can put a thermometer in there. No problem. It's going to be great. It's going to work just fine. So let's go ahead and let's get back to it. So we've got our filling. We've got our egg roll wrappers. Now what we need to do, we need to take our egg. Okay, we're going to take our egg. We're going to put our egg roll filling right here. We're going to take our egg and we're going to crack it into one little tiny cup. Okay, oh, look at that. We got twins. You see that? We got twins. How cool is that? Nice little jumbo egg. Got 2 yolks in there. The yolk's the best part. So we're gonna go ahead, we're just gonna scramble this up here real quick. Okay, scramble it up. And really, there is no egg in egg rolls. They call them that. I don't know why they call them that. It's been terminology for a long time. But essentially, when it comes to the egg, the only thing you're using it for is to close. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead. I'm going to take my towel. I'm going to wipe off kind of my cutting board here real quick. And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead. We're going to roll some of these egg rolls here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one egg roll wrapper and I am going to sit it down. I'm going to put it horizontally. Okay. So I don't know if you can see that. In fact, I'll adjust it here real quick. There we go. So little adjustment, we got your egg roll wrapper right here. And what we really are just gonna do is take a little bit, a nice little handful of this meat, and we're gonna pop it right there. And we want it to have about an inch off of each side. So kind of just like that, okay? And we're simply gonna pull the sides in. We're gonna fold this top over. And I'm gonna add a little bit of pressure here to give it some back pressure, and then I'm gonna continue to roll. I'm gonna take a finger, I'm gonna dip it into that egg, I'm gonna rub it on this outside here. And what that is going to do is the egg is going to keep that sealed so it does not open up as we cook. Okay, so I'm gonna continue to again. So I tell you what, we're gonna go till everybody has 6 of them here. Okay, and then we'll take a little break, let everyone catch up. So again, we're gonna put in enough to where there's about an inch on each side. Okay, I'm gonna fold over the sides here. I'm gonna bring this over. I'm gonna push it in so it's evenly spaced. And I'm gonna continue to roll it. Egg the outside triangle there and roll it some more. And that's another egg roll that's ready to go. So keep going until you have about 6 or 7 of these, or however many people are there with you. But a lot of fun, really easy to make. I think a lot of people take for granted, when they go out to restaurants, just how easy it is to make some of this stuff at their house, and really just have a good time. So again, here we go, pulling in the sides, 1 inch on each side. I'm going to continue to roll it, egg wash that top corner, if you can see that. I'm going to roll it a little bit more there, okay? So we got some beautiful egg rolls forming here. These are going to be delicious. I'm on keto, so I can only have one. But what we're going to go ahead and do, and again, that oil is getting nice and hot over here. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to turn that down a little bit. We're going to bring it back down, 375. So that's a little too little there. So I'm going to get a little bit more, put a little bit more in here. Why not? Why not? I like a big egg roll. We're going to fold this over the sides here again. And again, we're going to bring this top over. We're going to push back a little bit, make it nice and round, and then we're going to roll it. Okay? So again, take that egg, put it on the outside there, and that egg's going to soak in, and it's going to give you some really phenomenal hold, so that way your egg roll does not just open up when you're putting it in the fryer here. So, okay, so we're going to make a couple more here. Hope everyone's doing good, and believe me, I am going to wait until the comment section before I go. So I'm going to go in there and make sure nobody's like saying, hey, I'm still behind, and hey, I'm still waiting on you. I want to make sure everyone's doing this at the same time, okay? So again, we're going to roll that and take the egg, put it at the top here, roll that over. Man, those are just some good looking egg rolls. It's hard to tell right now because usually when you go to the restaurant, they're already fried, but they're going to get a beautiful golden brown color on the outside, and they're going to look fabulous when we're done here, okay? So again, got some more right here. Got that cabbage, got everything in there. Fold this over, roll it on up. Give it a little bit. You can see the carrot sticking out there. That's why I put a little pressure on there, just to make sure that it's going to stick together. I roll a little bit more. Awesome. Hope you guys are absolutely killing this at home. This is a lot of fun. So this is by far one of my favorite things ever to make. People always say, hey, how do you make your egg rolls? I'm like, man, I don't make egg rolls anymore because I made egg rolls all the time. I never go anywhere. they're just like so darn good. I love egg rolls. I mean, they may not have been the true Chinese invention of the century, and it might have been done by an American. Who cares? They are phenomenal. And I'll tell you right now, if I have the ingredients to make egg rolls, I'm making egg rolls. Even if I'm on keto, I'm eating at least one. Wrapper's not too bad, right? Yeah. All right, so we're gonna keep making our egg rolls here. I'm gonna finish out my batch while you get to your 5 or 6 here. Put these in, bring it over, fold it up, a little back pressure so it's nice and round. Again, all right, so we're just gonna follow the same process every single time. All right, I think I'm on my last one. And as I get on my last one, I'll go take a look at the comment section just to see if anybody needs more time. If you need more time, don't be afraid to ask. I'm not paying for this. I'm here as long as you need it. So we'll go ahead, we're gonna fold this over. Get it nice and round. All right, little egg wash here. All right, so I got that. I got my egg rolls all taken care of. I'm gonna move this out of the way. Make sure I have a nice clean surface. You can see I made a little bit of a mess with the egg there. We'll get that cleaned up. All right. Got that cleaned up there. Now, if you don't have it in your kitchen, if you're a big fan of bleach, bleach is the way to go. When you're cleaning stuff, when you're getting ready to do things, bleach is the way to go. But there's also things like quat sanitizer, which are really good for situations like this. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna take all my stuff over here, put it in the sink, get that ready to be used. And look, I've got these beautiful egg rolls here, just ready to go, just waiting to go, ready to get cooked up, ready to be eaten. So I'm gonna give you guys 2-3 minutes. 2-3 minutes, we're going to catch up, look at the comments, and say, are we good to go? We'll see if we're good to go. All right, not seeing too much, give us 1 more minute. All right, guys, so hey, here we are. We are ready to get these things fried up. Here are your egg rolls. Now, here's what's really important. When you're frying an egg roll, this little lip needs to be down, okay? So you'll see this little tiny lip right there where you put the egg needs to be down. So we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna put that in here. It's frying up nicely. Put these in. Now, I don't wanna overcrowd the pan, okay? So overcrowding the pan is a big problem. That's gonna make that oil drop down to a level that you really just don't wanna do. So I'm probably, in the pan that I have, gonna be able to fit a maximum here that looks like about 6, okay? So we're gonna put those in there, and we're gonna let those kind of do their thing. In the meantime, what you can do is, let's go ahead, we're gonna get our garnish ready. So we just got done handling raw chicken. So what we need to do is, we need to go wash our hands. Don't worry about the egg rolls. They're doing just fine. They're not going anywhere crazy. They'll be there when you get back. All right, so a couple good questions there on the feed that I'll get answered here real quick. So could you bake these instead of frying them? Absolutely. Absolutely you can. So the way it works is when you're baking them, you still want to coat the outside with a little bit of oil. And the reason why is because that oil does give a lot of flavor to what you're doing. A lot of flavor to what you're doing, but also it helps with the texture. So I have a air fryer, and if I was going to air fry these, I would brush them with oil first, just because it gets that outer layer really nice and crisp. So different cooking methods have different ways of making the food taste a certain way. And so what we want to do is, if we're going for true authentic, I'm going for the fryer. But yes, absolutely. You want to do a healthier option than just doing them here? Absolutely, you could do that. So our oil got a little cool here, so I've got it on high. So you put it on high, it's going to get back to where it needs to be here shortly. So go ahead, throw out some questions. If you got questions, throw them out in the chat feed while we're waiting for these kind of cook. So once they get brown on one side, you're going to want to go ahead and just flip them over. Let's see here. So let the oil heat up here. So what you want to do is you want to cook these until they are 165 internal. Unfortunately, I'm working with some new equipment here, so this oil isn't as hot as it needed to be, so I might have to reheat it here in just a moment. But that's not something you want to do anyways. Good thing we're getting this out of the way season 1. So make sure your oil's nice and hot before you put stuff in. So you'll see it actually cooked the egg roll. I'm going to take the egg rolls back out just to let it cook a little bit more. And they're actually getting brown on one side, but it's just not as hot as I want it to be. I'll show you what it looks like here. Just a moment, we'll let that heat up nicely. Get nice and hot, and we'll put them back in there. So these have actually been cooking. They've probably been cooking at around like 300 degrees. They weren't at like 350 that I wanted. So you'll get a little bit better with oil. Like I said, I'm using a little bit more new equipment today. So as using new equipment, you know, you're gonna find some things. Worked great yesterday, it doesn't work so great today. So we're gonna basically kind of find out, you know, what a lot of this stuff does in our kitchen together. So I'm just gonna go ahead and see if maybe that's heating up nicely. It's getting there. Okay, give me 1 second here. All right, so if your stuff is brown, turn it over so you can see what basically happened is my flame went out, so it wasn't getting any heat. We're gonna get some heat on there. New devices, who would have known they would have screwed me over in the first episode. So, all right, so if your stuff is brown, make sure you're flipping them, okay? And you're gonna continue to flip them as they get darker and darker until you use your thermometer and they get to 165 degrees, okay? That is the real key here, is at 165 degrees. Once you do that, it's done. It doesn't matter what else you do. That thing is cooked. It's going to be nice and crispy on the outside. It's going to be perfect. So again, I apologize for some of the technical difficulties. They are bound to happen in the kitchen, but that's how we address them. So, all right. Anybody else out there? Let's see here. At what temperature and how long to bake them? So if you're going to bake them, I'd probably do them at about 400 degrees. And really, again, this is all internal temperature. Okay, so when it comes to chicken, I don't play around. I don't mess around. It's just, there's one temperature that works for everything, and that is 165 degrees when it comes to chicken. You just don't mess with it. So internal temperature is going to be the #1 way, in fact, you cook a lot of things. By the way, so if you're doing meats, a lot of people say, oh man, how do I make sure I don't overcook my meat? Well, it takes a little bit of observation. It takes a little bit of time and energy going into you know, what you're doing at the moment, and just really taking temperature checks and knowing when to temperature it. And the more you practice, the better you get. So now you're going to see that egg roll's boiling a little bit in there. I'll probably move it over here so you can see it a little bit better. There you go. You'll see it's crisping up nicely on the outside. That's what we want. So it makes me feel a little bit better. The flame just went out because the flame going out just not my fault. So we're gonna put these back in here. They're nice, they're boiling. We're gonna let them get nice and brown, nice and hot. Put them back in, let them do their thing. So now if you've already pulled yours out, go ahead and set them to the side, start the next ones, the next batch. That should look a lot more familiar, getting these nice and cooked up. And while we're waiting on that, I'm gonna take a little bit of green onion here, and I'm gonna get it ready as a garnish. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut it at a diagonal, just like that. And you'll see I get this nice little edge. And I'm gonna thinly slice this green onion at that angle. And that is really gonna give me a nice thin decoration that I can have at the top. Now the thing is, if you're gonna have a ton left over, I like to take a little bit of the top up here and do the top as well, so I get some of that darker green. Nothing wrong with using the top. It's absolutely wonderful stuff. It's just a little bit older, the onion. It's the part that grew first. Nothing wrong with it. So we put that over there. We got a nice, beautiful green here. We're gonna grab our plate. Okay. And we're gonna grab our soy sauce. We're going to grab our maple soy sauce. Okay. We're gonna get those ready. So our egg rolls are sputtering, kicking away. They sound fantastic. They're frying up really nicely. And like I said, I'm just going to continue to turn these throughout the process. And you'll see the nice little golden color they're getting on the outside. We're going to continue to do that until they're about all the way that way. Let those cook. Can you guys see everything all right? Let me know if you can see everything all right. Did I need to change anything for y'all? All right, look at those guys. Really, really nicely. Beautiful egg rolls, nicely wrapped. Inside's getting all nice and cooked. Just gonna keep an eye on it. You know, what we don't have is waste. In the meantime, you always clean while you cook. My mother doesn't like to say that I do, but I think I do a pretty good job. Mom. All right, let's take a look here. So we're gonna get these things all put back. This all goes down. Are beautiful. They are cooking. I can feel the crispness as I turn them. Get really nice and crispy. The inside's cooking. It's steaming on the inside with all that cabbage. A lot of great things going on inside the egg roll, forcing a lot of those flavors together. Okay. Move my waist over here and put that over here. There you go. It's getting nice golden brown. I like it. It looks good. Hope you guys are hungry because this is going to be delicious. All right, so I'm just going to keep turning these things. We give one more turn. Getting nice and golden brown on the outside. Oil's nice and hot. It's staying with us. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make some room on my cutting board because this is where I'm going to put those egg rolls. If you want, you can take a towel or a paper towel and place it down, and it's going to suck up that additional oil that comes off the egg roll when it's in there. We're going to go ahead, we're going to temp these out. We're going to see where they're at. Looks can be deceiving. Look at that, 165. Perfect, perfect, perfect. So, take these out. Look at those beautiful golden brown egg rolls. And you just made, they're absolutely delicious. They're crispy, they're hot. I'm gonna sit here real quick. And my God, people, look what you've done. You've made delicious food. It's fantastic. You're killing it. All right, so we're gonna let those cool for just a quick second. All right, I'm gonna move these out of here. And depending on how many egg rolls you're doing, you're gonna basically just continue the process, right? 6 at a time, 4 at a time, whatever your pan will hold. Well, look at these gorgeous egg rolls right here. And I'll tell you right now, ooh, they nice and crispy, nice and crispy. All right, so I'm gonna grab a plate. I'm gonna take one. I'm gonna cut it up. I'm just gonna show you guys how I cut this. So I'll move that right down there. This egg roll, I'm gonna cut at a bias, just like that. Now, if I was serving this in a restaurant, I'm gonna take some of my maypoi seasoning and put that in the bottom. Look at that beautiful chili, right? And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a little bit of that dark chili sauce. I'm gonna put it in the corner, okay? Just like that. I'm gonna take, and I'm gonna make some beautiful designs right in here, right before I put in my beautiful egg rolls. Toss them with a little garnish. And look at that, you have gorgeous, beautiful homemade egg rolls right there, made at home, absolutely phenomenal. They should taste just like they would in the restaurant. In fact, I'm going to. Those are so good. So good. Man, I hope you guys really enjoyed this today. Hope you're enjoying the egg roll class. I hope you guys are enjoying eating some of the great food. And I really hope that this live demo was a lot of fun for you. I want to thank you for joining us. The ever-growing chef is growing all the time. We're happy to have you here. And I'd love to see some of the comments. Who's tried their egg rolls already? Yeah. Well, hey, everyone, I just want to thank you very much for being here for the ever-growing chef. My name is Brian Kaner. We are so happy to have you here. And I want you to remember, keep an open palate and a hungry heart. It's really, really important. And I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful day and enjoy your egg rolls. Gosh, they are phenomenal. Take care.